I dare us both. Yeah, there it is. Uh-huh.
I hear it.
Uh-huh.
I feel it. I feel it. It's happening. It's going. We're doing it again.
All right.
Here we go.
Hey. And the only thing I'm going to have to do is mute the feed when it starts going on YouTube so that it doesn't, I don't have it there. It's already muted. Awesome. Okay, great. Hi, guys. It's the Tara Show with me, Tara Dublin, and her, Tara Devlin. It is Thursday, April the 10th. And what happened? What happened? Those of you who were here with us on Tuesday, we were talking about the tariffs, which almost is like saying taras. And we were talking about tariffs. And I was like, what's the over-under on him blinking before this week is over? Because he's made his buddies in the broligarchy big mad. And you were like, I don't know, let's wait and see. And everyone was like, oh no, this is different. This isn't like all of the times of his entire life where he did stuff and then did the same stuff and then has to back up the stuff because he has to back down because he's mad that everyone's mad at him.
God,
so I mean, like, he loves to make
horrible.
us mad, right?
Yeah, he loves to annoy. Well, he wants the world to be at his feet, and I don't agree. I mean, I don't believe him, frankly, that hundreds of leaders are calling him. They're not. Sir.
With tears in their eyes.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. We've never seen anything like this. The likes of which we've never seen. Sir. Fuck you, dude.
No way.
He and his insider trader friends made $300 billion by manipulating the markets for one day. It's like they had a casino night at the White House.
Totally.
For them and their friends. When I was growing up, down at Temple Shalom in Mattawan, New Jersey, they would have a casino night, and all the people on my block would get dressed up and go to casino night and win fake money.
Play fake money.
This time I don't know if they could win real money or not. I was like, 4? I don't know.
Wow.
All I know is that my mom always came home drunk because she would have an extra vodka gimlet.
Well, they were selling real alcohol. When I was growing up,
alcohol. I don't know what the prizes were. Maybe a timeshare in Boca. I have no idea.
Well, I have a funny story too. At the I grew up as an Irish Catholic, and our local church every year had something called the Italian Festival, and they did have actual gambling there for real money and all. And I was a kid, and I got like a $10 allowance, and I lost it playing blackjack. Okay. And I mean, the fact that they let me sit down at the table and play blackjack, and then they took my money, and I was so upset. I know. And I was crying. I was going home. I was crying also because I was afraid my father was going to be mad at me for losing my allowance gambling at the Italian Festival. And he was like, I said, Daddy, I walked in. He's like, what's wrong? I said, I just lost my allowance at the Italian Festival playing blackjack. And he said, instead of being mad, he said, get my coat. And we went back and we played blackjack together. And my father taught me how to play. Isn't that funny? He was like, you hold at 16, now you double down.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's right. My grandfather taught me how to play blackjack as well. We played with pennies, and after a while I got better than he was at it somehow.
That's awesome.
And then with the other thing that my grandfather used to love to play the horses, and I would sit on his lap and look at the racing form with him and pick out horses based on their names, and he bet on the horses.
That's nice.
He would take us to Monmouth Park, and then there was a track in Queens that he liked, and I don't really remember, but it's like, I'm so glad we were taught gambling by our elders.
Right? It's a different time for sure, right?
And it's basically Trump and his friends had a casino night for a little bit, and they did a big pump and dump orgy, basically, and all of the inside traders made a shit ton of money at the expense of only the entire world. That's all. We're only suffering while they get richer, and and the MAGA cult is like, look how smart they are. They're so smart.
So unreal.
They are financial geniuses.
He's playing fifth dimensional chess. That's what what's her name? Laura Ingraham was saying.
No, he's playing three-card Monty on a shitty card table outside of Trump Tower.
Right. Totally.
Step right up. Don't take your eyes off it. Where she lands, nobody knows.
Him.
Oh, hey. So it's... But the point being, from the very beginning, all of this, none of it makes sense, but when you think about it, like, they just did it to make themselves richer. And what's interesting is, and as I wrote today for Political Voice, for my own Substack, actually, because I made the prediction on Political Voice's Substack, right. And then on my own Substack today, which I hope everybody will subscribe to at taradublin.substack.com, the headline is, I love to say I told you so. Because everyone's like, no, I hate to say I told you so.
You gotta.
Guess what? I love to say I told you so, because the finding out is infuriating when it's also killing us, right? Yeah. So I'm the whole world love saying I told you so, because it's like, you mooks had so many opportunities to listen and you chose not to. And now you're seeing how Trump decided to literally game the system with so much help, and all it took was some pressure from. And it's like I've been saying, he doesn't care about the founders, but he definitely cares about his funders. And so, thank you so
Amen,
much.
sister. That's a good one.
A little trademark on that. Put it on a T-shirt, slap it on a bumper sticker, and make sure you funnel that money into my Venmo, because I'm fucking broke, and we'll get to that in a little while. But anyway, the point being is that the Republican tactics are just so blatant and brutal, and the glee in which they are enjoying, just shredding all of our norms at our expense. And you get those little glimmers of hope here and there, and then the Republicans step up with something like, well, here's the SAVE Act, and we're just going to strip women of voting rights because we can't repeal the 19th Amendment, but so we're going to figure out a different way to prevent women from voting. How can we do that?
I know. It has to be, but then you got to...
I'm so furious about it. I have my own name that I was given at birth because I changed my name after I got divorced. So
okay.
But here, like, why would you introduce a bill that requires people's names on their voting, whatever ID they use to register to vote? It should not have to match the name on the birth certificate, because so many women get married and take the names of their husbands.
Well, they know that has been, so
that's purposeful. And so not only are they, but it's not just Democratic women don't do that. Do that.
Right.
So
that's so true.
Women.
Yeah.
So they're control, and Republican
women
are fine. Now they're like, well, now this will be less fighting at home, because now my husband doesn't have to tell me not to vote. I just can't.
Oh God.
Well, that's fine. I love being subjugated. That's fine.
Yeah, well, they do love it. But the thing is, with the kick, of course, this wouldn't be happening if women weren't voting Democratic as a demographic, and that's what's happening. Right. So they, anything to suppress the Democratic vote, they're shameless.
They can't win without cheating, or win without trying to pull a fast one. And the important thing to do going forward as Democrats is making sure we're watching how Democrats are voting, because it's my take is that Democrats should obstruct every Trump appointee, every Republican bill, because that's what the Republicans set out to do with Obama. And to watching them vote for the SAVE Act, there was just a handful of Democrats who did in the House, but I'm going to posit that a real Democrat wouldn't speak like Jared Golden has been speaking, because he's not going to block the tariffs. And Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez from my former district voted for the SAVE Act. And it's like, you're a woman voting against women getting, and she's not a real Democrat anyway. She is someone who was like a kind of a pretty progressive Republican in a district that needed a Democrat and wanted a woman to run against, keep Joe Kent out of that seat. And it's a whole lot of gross local Democrat hinky stuff going on over there.
Yeah, and for those who don't know what we're talking about, I know people who are on the chat are very well informed, but you never know what happened.
Our people are the smartest.
Yes, but in case there's a maggot passing through or whatnot, but what my friend Tara Dublin is talking about, the SAVE Act, they passed, this is today, the House of Representatives passed a something they called the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act.
Hold on one second. I'm apparently being blocked by the chat.
No, you're not. It's not you. It's not. It's. I think it's their setup, because we can see you. They got. I think Jim said that on the chat.
Okay? Yes.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. You're not blocked by the chat.
It's seen and all women deserve to be heard and seen. That's right. Okay, continue.
But what that is, it's the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. Sounds wonderful. Who would be against it? it requires in-person proof of citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. So it was sponsored by Chip Roy, and also
Right.
critics, argue. I'm reading this off of the AI, basically. Critics argue that the bill could disenfranchise millions of eligible voters who lack easy access to citizenship documents such as passports or birth certificates. So
and that's the point.
Yeah, it is the point.
And it's so blatantly evil in the ways that Republicans are finding to silence our voices, mostly to control women.
Yeah.
Right? It's controlling women first and foremost means controlling the population, which is what they're trying to do ultimately. And that's like the essence of Project 2025. It's to control the birthing population so that they can grow this obedient army of white drones who will spew whatever dear leader says.
True.
And then
Very
they
true.
They can put them to work in overnight shifts at the age of 14 and make them birthing vessels from a young age to keep producing more obedient drones for dear leader. Mm-hmm. And the fact that this is happening in the United States of America and not just on The Handmaid's Tale
which is really frightening.
And it's an interesting conversion of all of these things happening all at once, because today the new season of Black Mirror also drops.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
And I mean, I'll hit that later because we're living in an episode of it right now, and I don't know if you've ever watched Black Mirror, but it's
I have.
And so like, a few years back, it was predicting what we're living in now. And it's just like,
which one are you talking about?
Just, like how, like the especially the one with the politician, like the pig fucking politician.
Oh, yes. Sorry. That was a good one. That's a classic.
How social media pressure can work to manipulate government. Right. And
totally.
in his way, Elon Musk basically got Donald Trump to fuck a pig, just in a different form.
Very true.
Right.
And he would too. That's the thing.
Right.
If that's
with his botched junk, but I think they both have botched junk.
Oh yeah, Stormy said it wasn't. It was smaller than average, and it was very weird looking. And he's aware of it. Gross. So yeah, it's just disgusting.
The fact that we constantly have to pay for white men overcompensating. Right. It's just. That is like, it's a blight on humanity, and we've said this before, but like every issue in this country can be traced back to a mediocre white guy being mad about something they don't need to be mad about.
The Peter principle in action, right? They've all been elevated beyond their capacities. That's for sure.
Right, and so
Pete Hegseth, for God's sakes, oh my God,
who needs
all
to
of them,
go?
All of
Let
them.
us not forget Signalgate.
Yes,
and how it jeopardized our national security, and how we are so unsafe right now as a nation. We've never been.
He crashed the world economy to get that off the front page, right? So
he's done all of this to keep a PP tape in a safe somewhere and boot out.
I know.
So, and
will that ever come out, please?
Probably not until after he's dead.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
And
I
Putin
would imagine,
too, right?
Yeah, they would have to both be gone, because whoever releases that would need to be feel safe enough to do that, right?
It's true.
They would have to be emboldened enough to be like, okay, well, I can safely walk past through windows and there won't be any more polonium in my beverage. So let's go for it.
I can touch this doorknob without turning blue.
Right. I can turn on my car without worrying it's going to explode.
Right.
But I think, the fact that we have to continuously be the victims of their mediocrity,
I know,
is patently unfair. And the way that they will move those goalposts and scapegoat anyone rather than take any responsibility. And we're sitting here in a moment where Trump did what he does, which is create a problem and then wait for the response. And he waits to take the temperature. Who am I making mad about this? Am I making the right people mad? Oh, no, I'm making my own people mad. Now I got to walk it back. And now I have to say this was the plan all along.
Yeah, the donors.
That's right. But that's what Lutnick Aslick, who blocked me on Twitter, said,
Who,
like
Lutnick?
on Monday.
Lutnick blocked you too? Shit, girl.
Oh, yeah, no, Lutnick is it illegal for the Commerce Secretary to block me? Because it probably
is. Didn't they go to
it
court over that?
Probably is.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a whole thing when Trump blocked people during the there was before he was inaugurated in 2017 and then after. And in this entire time, he has never unblocked me. I was blocked in late August of 2015. I've never been he's not unblocked me in this entire time. And I, like even just like if you knew nothing else about Donald Trump and you found out that he was a person who thought he was qualified to run for president, but he was afraid of some lady on Twitter. Like what kind of coward is that?
So fragile.
Why do you care?
So fragile.
You cannot. You have to have super thick skin just to do what we're doing, let alone run for office, right? Because people are going to talk shit regardless of who you are or what you're doing. But if you're going to put yourself out there and pretend to be this, this incredibly successful person, and you need to be impervious to what anybody says about you if you are so deeply rooted in your own self-belief system, right? Like, I alone can fix this. Really? You bankrupted 4 casinos. Oh, I alone can fix this. Really? You're not allowed to run a business in New York because you were convicted on 34 felony fraud charge. Like, over and over again, he's continued to show how absolutely inadequate he is. And that only seems to make his cult dig in and be like, he's the best.
Right. Well, that's like when Elon Musk, the unelected South African sociopath, played that game again. I was talking about this on my show last night, how he played that Path of Exile game again in front of people, of course, because he had he had hired a ringer to play the game so he can go around saying that I'm in the top 10 in the whole damn world. Right. And then it was exposed. Right. And then he did it again. He played it again last night, but he rage quit after being mercilessly trolled by people saying, you suck. You're ruining America. I mean, they're very fragile. He was like a lot of, and he used, a word starting with R to disparage developmentally disabled. I know, like a 2-year-old. What a 2-year-old, right?
I mean, he is. And that's the frustrating thing is, right? Like these overindulged children who have never been held accountable or responsible, who have never been told no. Because even when they are told no, they just push harder. Right. And that's why they're both rapists.
Yeah, they have no feedback. We all need to get that feedback from the world. Right, exactly. You need to have, is this working? Is that not working? No, but they don't have that. They're just completely emboldened to be disgusting people. And, I don't know how long we're going to take it, but, yeah.
I mean, and so you now have to look at what they're doing now, which is saying this was the plan all along. No, it wasn't. Because on Monday, you were saying he's not going to back down. There will not be a pause. That is not part of the plan. The plan is to keep doing this. He doesn't even have concepts of a plan. He was like, I'm going to fuck up people's shit and make money
That's so true. Plan.
I'm going to keep people twisting in the wind.
That's the plan. It is to inflict my manias on people, have them call me sir, have them all watch me. Like we were just talking about, the Republicans had a meeting last night, the Republican Congressional Campaign Committee, and Trump was the keynote speaker because he's such a great speaker. And he was supposed to speak for like 15 minutes, and he went on for over 2 hours, which is right out of North Korea, because none of them could leave. None of them could stop applauding. Hostage. Right. As he's going on about
a military parade,
Oh, I know. On his birthday. He
wants one of those.
On his birthday, effing birthday.
Till July. If he lives until it's in June, right? No, it's June. His birthday's in June.
But you. Is he going to get this? Let me look this up.
I think they estimated it would cost somewhere close to $100 million.
But he wants it in Washington,
while you're cutting all of our benefits and taking everything away from us, you're going to stage a $100 million ego parade with our military.
Which will not only oh please don't get me going on that, because I'm as somebody who actually wore the uniform of this country, it really irritates me beyond belief, because Republicans do nothing for veterans or anyone who served. They love to give lip service, but they block veterans benefits, or they strip veterans benefits. They do everything to make it harder for veterans. They hate veterans. They hate everybody,
I mean, I keep saying it over and over again because it's true, but our government is not supposed to threaten our lives. It's supposed to support our lives. It's supposed to enhance.
That's the
It's
point.
supposed to improve our lives.
Promote the general welfare.
America. Right? Absolutely. Yeah. Your Schoolhouse Rock, that is part of preamble to the
promote the general welfare
and
secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of
America. We should just do a full-on.
I know. It makes you feel good.
No, we should get Hal to do a Nerd Halen Schoolhouse
That would be
Rock.
amazing. That's a great idea. You better write that down.
You know what? I got millions of great ideas.
Just write it down.
And you know what?
Write it down.
Before we go any further, I just want to take one moment to acknowledge our producer George lost his brother.
Yes.
This week, and we are all thinking of you, George, and holding you in our hearts and sending your family all the love and light. And we know his brother was an incredibly talented visual artist who worked with some of the most legendary bands of all time, and he's so proud of his brother. George was always such a good Greek boy, bragging on his family, whatever. And so George, we're thinking of you today, and just holding you, with all the love in our hearts, and we wouldn't be here without you because the show was your idea. So thank you so much.
That's right.
Anyway, back to it. So the things that it's all about ignore what they say and watch what they do. And so now what are they going to do now? He's walked back these tariffs, except for the ones on China, which is also weird because if you think all of his shitty Trump products are made in China, and Ivanka holds patents in China, and Tesla's a huge manufacturing has a factory in Shanghai.
There's some 5D chess going on,
and it's so, but yet he claims to love President Xi. So why are you implementing 145% hiked tariffs on goods from China?
He's a fucking baboon. That's why he's a.
But now it's just China. Like China stands alone right now. And so you have to ask why, what is next? What is the next step here? Because if you're saying you're pausing these for 90 days so that you can hopefully get the markets to rebound and claim responsibility,
which they haven't,
rebounding the markets you're going to tank, right? So that's what he does, right? So if he's not blaming Joe Biden for what happened, then he's going to take credit for returning the economy to where Joe Biden had it.
Yeah, well, not even. It didn't even rebound.
You're not going to get it back.
No, it's still. It's still in the red.
It's not going to get back, right? Because it was like markets come back after he announced tariffs policy.
No, they didn't.
They came back like
a little,
maybe, but certainly not as significantly as Trump would probably like to see, because he thinks he can just like a yo-yo, like it's up, it's down,
right?
It's down.
Yeah.
This is the doo-doo economic we were talking about on Tuesday.
Doo-doo. That's it.
It's doo-doo economics because he's full of shit. And it's unfair that we have to live based on his feelings and his bank account, but that is where we are.
That's the problem.
And the other thing that's so incredibly frustrating, do you know we only need 7 congressional Republicans to vote
to stop this?
To stop this. 7. 4 in the Senate and 3 in the House. And so there are some that are showing and there are some that are showing a little signs of life, and we did talk about this on Tuesday's show, like Chuck Grassley writing the bipartisan bill with Democrat Maria Cantwell, and we're seeing Representative Don Bacon in the House, and Tom Tillis. Tom Tillis is like, what are you doing with these tariffs? He's mad. Tom Tillis, who, by the way, was threatened to vote to confirm Pete Hegseth.
Ugh.
And instead of standing up in front of the world and said, hey, I'm getting threats if I don't confirm this guy, he's like, I'm going to confirm this guy. We'll just see what happens.
Right. Because that's the thing, because there's been so many opportunities where the Republicans could have released themselves from this bondage of this disgusting con man as their standard bearer. and they never
Right.
took it. Like January 6th, that was their latest chance. They could have all impeached his ass. It was the most bipartisan impeachment in American history. But of course, what
Right.
did Mitch McConnell do? Oh,
Nothing.
he will face justice. This doesn't exonerate him.
And Merrick Garland was like,
Yep.
actually, you won't.
No,
No,
right,
move along,
right.
Mitch.
And
No,
this
I'm not
is-
going to do anything.
Right. I mean, and today, I'm a history buff, but today is the anniversary of Lee surrendering at Appomattox. And I'm writing an article. I swear to God, it's going up today because I have many articles in the queue now. And one of them is about how it breaks my heart because we are in this boat in general because we have compromised with conservatives again and again and again and not held them accountable. If the shoe is on the other foot, you think that Lee would have allowed Grant to go home and sin no more? That's basically what he said. He kept his sidearm, he kept his sword, and he was like, no, go and just don't do it anymore. Don't be a traitor anymore. He is the very definition of a traitor. He had taken an oath to defend the Constitution, and he violated that. He went against it merely, because he wanted to fight for human bondage. So the worst reason for anyone ever to pick up arms and commit treason against their country. And we allowed them all to go home to sign a loyalty oath. That was it. And instead, what we got was 100 years of domestic terrorism against people with darker pigment. And all throughout our history.
Yay,
Yeah,
Are
that's
we great
it.
yet?
Right.
Are we liberated yet?
We have
Right.
compromised with conservatives. And whether they were called Democrats at the time is beside the point. It's conservatism that is, that's the problem. The compromise of 1850, the compromise of 1877. It's like all of these compromises. They're pulling the troops out of the South to effectively stopping Reconstruction. We've never finished the work of Reconstruction. And here we are.
Right.
So, and January 6th, it goes right to the January 6th, allowing conservatives to get away with their treason. It keeps happening. It keeps
absolutely
happening.
disgusting. And the people who refuse to learn from history are dooming us to repeat it. And
that's us.
It's unconscionable, and it just keeps going around and around with this. How much money does a human being need? Let's look at someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who helped plot January 6th.
Yes.
Saw no consequences for it, still hasn't received her pardon, and she is one of the people who benefited financially the most from Trump's little stunt this week. Because, and Hal and I talked about this on his show on Monday, and he had the screenshots, and I also included some of those in the piece that I wrote on my Substack today. About how she bought up a bunch of stuff and then she sold it real quick.
Wow.
Just
a coincidence.
She's big time inside traitor,
Wow.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. And, I believe that there's enough House Democrats who are already like Jasmine Crockett's like, we got to get, gotta find out what actually happened. So I'm sure that there will be an investigation into what happened here. But until we get anything that's close to a majority, we get enough Republicans who also want to find out what's going on, at the same time, we're it's not seeing any accountability to that is one of the things about this, of the many things about this that is so frustrating, because I would never listen to him when it comes because somebody on Facebook, like, you don't know who you're responding to when you're responding to stuff on Facebook. Like they can be your friend, but they can have other friends who are total assholes.
But it could be a bot
too,
that's the other thing.
Yeah, you just never know. But like, somebody had posted about him, blinking on the tariffs, and I shared a screenshot of my blue sky where I was like, what's the over-under on him backing down before the week was over? And I did that on Monday. And so I took a screenshot of that and dropped it into this Facebook post. And so some guy was like, oh, so I bet you just made $100 billion because you just gamed. No.
What?
No. First of all, I don't have stocks. I don't play the stock market. I don't understand how they technically work. It was confusing enough to follow the plot of Trading Places. Okay, I was literally the scene with Eddie Murphy where it's like,
really? Oh, that's funny.
Like, makes orange juice,
well,
like that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
funny.
I want to know what we're supposed to understand from this entire gaming of the system right in front of us, and the way that they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes by telling us him pausing the tariffs was the plan all along, when on Monday they said that they're not going to pause the tariffs. And so, and this comes back to the conversation of how they manipulate language to try to, move the goalposts and cover up, and also shoot the messenger, because they don't want to talk about this glaring mistake that Trump made that's going to eventually hurt more people than it helped, right? Because it's not going to help all of us. It's only going to help his rich friends get richer. What were we supposed to parse from this? Like, what are we supposed to, how do you go forward and say, like, you did this, well, what are you going to do next? Like, we
please,
can't let him do it again.
I know, but this is what it feels like. It's to have a complete maniac, a malignant narcissist, dragging us through his manias. And that's why it's like, that's why the founders set up the co-equal branches. But our legislature under Republican control has completely abdicated their responsibility. And like you're saying, we just need how many? 6, 7 Republicans? Seven to cross over and to take back the power of their co-equal branch. This is unacceptable.
Right.
For this baboon to be tweeting, now it's 145%. It's
a great time to buy.
Right. It is just
he's literally committing financial fraud crimes from the Oval Office.
It's absolutely offensive. Yep.
Committing these crimes. It's bad enough he committed crimes against the United States during his first term from the Oval Office.
Yeah.
This time, he's committing financial fraud crimes from the Oval Office while also committing crimes against the United States. Multiple crimes.
Our medicine, we had to take our medicine. There was nothing wrong, you stupid monster.
And that's the other thing. That there, and you and I have talked about this too, that there are people who use the false narrative that Donald Trump it just grew the economy better than Joe Biden. Excuse me.
No.
Donald Trump has now tanked 2 successful democratic economies that were built back better by Democrats after Republicans flattened and scorched the earth. That's what Democrats do. Democrats build back better. Democrats deliver everything Republicans remove. And so when people are like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Who's going to help us on the world? Like, how are we going to get our reputation back? Elect Democrats.
Yeah.
Democrats do not embarrass us globally.
Yeah.
We never woke up to anything like this during the Biden administration.
I know.
So, the first Obama administration was rough because of what Bush did. He inherited Bush's economy.
That's true.
And, right?
But,
and so when
Obama wanted to...
The market crash was unavoidable. No matter what Obama did. But he finally, we got what we got because Democrats focus on what is the greater good for the country, not what is the best thing for me personally.
Or exactly, because that's all they care about is self. They're just on the oldest conservative pursuit, as who said that? Kenneth Galbraith is the search for the conservative search for the superior moral justification for selfishness. That's what they're doing all the time. It's I got mine. Sucks to be you. Who cares?
Right.
And that's why we were talking about it, I think, last time, too, about how what is also a shame in the mainstream media, how no one is even presenting or even posing the thought that it is absolutely immoral that all of a sudden people are waking up and seeing the light when it hits their pocketbooks, not when it hit, trans kids or any kids being taken from their parents or all the other offenses that we've had to deal with. The coup, right? That wasn't enough for you. But this, you lost a couple of mil in your account. I mean,
well,
come on.
When you've lost Joe Rogan.
Yeah. It's just disgusting, though. Right.
It is disgusting. But then at the same time, you're like, all right, well, you had to find out personally before you stood up. But what's going to happen is that they're going to say what their messaging will be is, oh, well, this was their plan all along, which is not true. They intended to fuck shit up, and then they intended to keep going.
Right.
And as I wrote, Donald Trump does this stuff and then just tests the water. I'm going to throw this in. I'm going to see if it floats. Oh, the boat is sinking. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait, we have our people in the boat?
Yeah.
And then they're mad at me? All right, well, here, I'm going to send a better boat. Get in this boat. See, I saved you. Only I alone can save you. And that's
from
that
myself.
Cycle.
Exactly.
Right. Right. And so where we are now in that cycle is now they're bailing the water out of the boat, and they're trying to waiting for the new boat to come along to get in the new boat and then move that new boat along. And so today's lying propaganda is we meant to do that.
Right.
Which they
didn't.
Meant to. They did not. It
you
is
meant
Thursday.
To,
you did this Tuesday.
It's
like
70 something days. But I mean, you meant to siphon $10 trillion in wealth. You meant to blow that up. You meant to just light that on fire for no, because that's what he did. Right.
And you meant to make the Koch brothers mad at you. You meant to piss off everybody that funded you. You meant to basically punish the entire world except Russia. Is basically what you meant to do, and you did
Incredible.
it. And now you're walking about saying and it's what is the excuse? Because that I haven't found. Like now he wrote like some long bullshit like, oh well, China's the only one who doesn't want to play along, so I'm gonna keep beating on China, but everyone else we're gonna back off for 90 days.
Oh please.
And like please, like the Backstreet Boys once sang, quit playing games with my heart. It's stop, right? Like I just want to scream stop at all of them, like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Cop, because it's just like stop doing this. Like you're play acting at running our country. You're not running our country.
They're not fit. They're
not fit to run the country, and they're not helping us. They're enriching themselves.
Yes, that's
they're play acting at running the country when what they're actually doing is just getting rich.
Yeah.
And so this goes back to what I thought was one of my greatest political ideas ever, which was let Kamala Harris run the blue states and let Donald Trump run the red states. Oh, that's great.
I'm for that.
And see who's here in a year and who's dead.
Right.
Because
I'm all for
that.
Right.
Because and then you can see, not without a civil war, we don't need to go to war for it.
No, just a seed already. We won't stop you this time.
Blue states keep bluing, but instead of delegating resources and money and assistance to red states, as we have always done, blue states would then keep all of that money for themselves.
That would be great.
And put it back into their infrastructure and their education and and healthcare and libraries, all of that stuff, while red states have no money and
they'll have bathroom
no food.
bills. Yeah, they'll have the PP
no
patrol.
Trans people. Right. No trans people will be going to the bathroom in the schools they don't have. And and they won't be reading any books in the libraries they've burned to the ground.
I like your plan. I like the way you think.
I love my plan because it would just be interesting to see how things would go in a divided states of America, where the blue states were just doing what blue states do,
just do it
without having to carry the red states at the same time. Which would be an interesting American experiment, Susan Sarandon. That would be interesting times, wouldn't it?
Yep.
So, but also it would prove a point that we have been able to make for decades from before you and I were old enough to know what politics were, which is Republicans are the worst, and Democrats come in and clean up the mess. And you may have a glimmer here and there. You may get an Adam Kinzinger who leaves the party, to tell the truth.
Yeah,
you
but
may get
still a
Republican
voted,
at heart.
Right. I mean, look at Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney voted with Trump 99.9% of the time. So, they voted for him.
Right,
again, twice. I mean, come on.
Yes, and don't think and they did what all elected officials are supposed to do, and they put country above party when they sat on the January 6th House Select Committee.
That's what they did.
And told the truth about January 6th, and that's what all elected officials are elected to do. Republican, Democrat, Independent. We are not electing you to take care of yourself. We're electing you to take care of us. That's your job. We
but
pay
they're
you
so
salary
afraid,
with our tax dollars.
Right?
Well, afraid of what are you afraid of?
They're afraid of
something mean about you. Oh,
that's what it is. And they're also afraid they're going to lose their cushy, phony, baloney jobs. That's what it is. Once they
Oh,
have
no.
access and
Or maybe-
power, they don't want to let
Yeah.
it go. It's, absolute power, whatever that saying is. But that's what it is. I mean, you can't,
Right.
it
They
does.
corrupt.
Right. Like Chuck Schumer. And I mean, like, these guys should be kind of retiring and at least mentoring, stepping into the background and mentoring the younger generation, but they won't let go. So I guess,
And
they're
it's-
intoxicated by it.
And it's all they've known, right, for their entire adult lives. It's been their whole careers. And so, a lot of people, when they're facing retirement age, I think they worry about their personal viability. What am I going to do every day? And one of the things that hastens someone's aging process is when they stop, right? And they just like stagnate. And they don't have anything new to stimulate them. But I would, hey, Chuck, a mentoring position would be great if you step aside and you let Cory Booker step in as Senate Minority Leader. I think he's really emerged as a voice that a lot of people were paying attention to. And that's true leadership. And I don't know if you saw this, but Hakeem Jeffries has challenged Mike Johnson to a one-on-one debate in the House over.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, over the voting. I believe it's over the voting rights bill, but But again, because there's so much information coming at me, my brain is just like, no more.
See.
But yes, challenged him to a one-on-one, and I don't believe Johnson has responded.
Well, I guess he has to ask Daddy. Right? He's got to ask his daddy.
Spineless. Right. Speaker Jesus Freak needs to get out of our house and go home to his house full of
to his beard. His beard. I mean, his wife had some kind of reparative therapy, anti-gay, whatever. Yeah. He's definitely a client.
Here's a question. Remember when we found out about Mike Johnson, he claimed that he doesn't have a bank account or
really?
Credit cards?
He said that?
Where did his rubles go?
Right. That's weird. How do you not have a bank account?
Where did his rubles go? Would you just funnel it all to your wife so that no one can tax you?
That
what
can't
do you do?
be real. How do you get your paycheck? What do you just have everything in cash?
Exactly.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
But that's like one of these Christian, fundamentalist things. It's a Christian. What do you call that? The movement that it's a cult, yes, but the Christian nationalists. There's a word. Somebody on the chat will remind me, but. That's kind of one of
you tithe yourself to the church and you give them all your money.
It's sort of like the Duggar people. They are They don't hold credit cards. They don't do anything that would accumulate debt. Everything is cash on the barrel, and but that's one of their fundamentalist things. But it sounds from something like that. That's what if that's what he's doing. But he also, as you know, has his son. He and his son are monitoring each other's masturbation habits. I'm sure you've heard about that. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yes, I don't. It's
Covenant
so
eyes.
Hey,
gross. Who wants to think about their father? Come on.
No. Course, stop.
Yeah, of course he's never going to get caught using, a porno site or whatever, or masturbating, because he's. He wouldn't be on a, straight site. He would, you know what I mean? He's a goddamn closet case. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Sure he has a secret Grindr account. So we have a question in the chat a comment. Stephen in the chat, Stephen Childers says, I'm tired of all the left podcasts telling us how bad Trump is. We know. Now what? We said that earlier. I was like, well, what's next? What's next? He collapsed the economy. We knew he was going to do it. He told us he was going to do it, and then he did it. Then he walked it back. And I also asked that question, Stephen. What do we do now?
What now?
Because we understand how he operates. Because one of the other conversations about him walking it back was people said he wasn't going to walk it back, and then he walked it back because he always walks it back. So if you haven't learned who he is by now, what is it going to?
You're lost cause.
Hal was talking about this on his show on Monday because he went to the march, the Hands Off March in Vegas. And in Vegas, they had MAGA people along their parade route trying to, beef with people or start it. I didn't have it in Portland, but he went up to a MAGA guy during that march, and he was like, I'm not here to fight with you, man. I just want to ask you a quick question. How long would it take you? Would have it taken you to realize Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile? How long would it have taken you? And the guy was like, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. I would have known right away he was a pedophile. And then Hal follows that with, So you're okay with it taking Donald Trump allegedly 25 years to realize his profile? Don't you think he maybe
knew good point there
right away? If Donald Trump couldn't catch on as fast as you, why would you follow him?
Yeah.
And the guy was like, and then Al was like, oh, that's what I thought.
Good question. Good question.
Right.
Good point.
And so, right. And so what's next? Well, what's next should be, in my opinion, because, I have some, we should have a forensic audit of the 2024 election and just see exactly, because we never had one. And there's lots of people who have stepped up, data scientists who have stepped up and said, we have evidence that this was manipulated and that was manipulated. And I still don't believe he won all 7 swing states, and he definitely didn't win them on election night. I would like an investigation into that. Short of that, Al Greene still wants to bring articles of impeachment against him, but you need a House majority for that. So we have to wait on that, or if you have enough votes, you have enough support.
Right.
So I don't know. Right. So I don't know if he can find enough Republicans in the House to do that. And what's next, Jim, is that you call Republicans. Because it is ultimately going to be the voice of the people, and the people need to rise up. That's why we were in the streets on Saturday, and we're going back out into the streets on April 19th to let the government know that what they are doing, or this version of the government, or this play acting Lego set of a government,
this pantomime,
this fakery, this performative bullshittery with a body count needs to stop. And it's enough already. And there's nothing funny. Like you made $300 billion yesterday. Walk away. Go. Leave. You have fulfilled your purpose, right? You said you wanted to make all of this money. You have it. You don't need any more. Go away and let real people take over the government. Nobody now from this point, you haven't even... No, but that's what should happen.
That's what should happen. But as far as, what can we do?
Establish a true shadow cabinet like they do. We talked about this the other day.
Yes, that's what should happen.
Because there technically is one, but really step from out of the shadows and say, here's what we're doing to push back. This is the Democratic press secretary moment also. It's standing up and telling the truth immediately after the press walks out of the press room after Caroline lies to them. Which also reminds me, and this is something I forgot about the other day. The Associated Press won their lawsuit against Donald Trump, and they have to be allowed back into the press room.
Okay, that's great. I hear you.
It's a small victory, but it shows you that you can beat this administration.
Yes, but here's the thing. He
had them removed for the dumbest reason.
Yeah, because they didn't say...
It's a First Amendment thing, because they wouldn't say
Gulf of America. Some bullshit.
Which is only between his ears, right?
Yes, but the thing is, though...
The small victory of getting back in there.
Right, but still, why? This is... we were talking about this on my show last night, too, but... what is the point of the White House press room at this point? All of the legitimate news outlets should get the F out of there and do some actual journalism on the street. Because what are you doing? You're nothing but a stenographer for Caroline Leavitt, who is lying to your face, and you're not doing... you're not pushing back at this. It's just... what's the point of it?
Some people try. It's... first of all, it's so that we know part of what they're doing.
Yeah, but they can put out a press release, Let that room be filled with, the idiots from Newsmax, right? That's... I don't know.
Right, but then she couldn't stand up there in her Handmaid's Tale outfits every day. She dresses
she
dresses like Serena Joy every day.
She is so Serena Joy. She is.
We should call her Serena Joyless. That's what we should call her. Which is
Totally.
also what I call Casey DeSantis. Casey DeSantis.
Oh, she is one too.
And Ron. There's a photo of Casey and Ron DeSantis where she's literally wearing the same coat as Serena Joy from The Handmaid's Tale.
That's crazy.
It's like that. It's that turquoise green, and it's buttoned all the way up to the neck and covers her totally.
They must be doing that on purpose. At this
creepy.
point,
it's creepy. It's creepy. It's just I just personally I cannot deal with any woman who gives up her voice willingly.
Yes.
Right. I can't stand when a woman is just like, oh, whatever he thinks is fine and whatever he says is fine. I'm just a girl. Wow. What do I know? And, being subjugated is just like, it's a bigger conversation than we can have in the last 10 minutes of the show. But it's frustrating to me as someone who can say, obviously we're liberated women. And that doesn't only apply to liberal women. Liberated women just believe that we're equal and we should be paid equally and treated equally and fairly. Shocking, I know.
mean, isn't that shocking? Exactly.
Nutty. It's nutty that all people
found that weird when I was a kid, being like, what's going on here? You know, why would there be a difference? But anyway.
Yeah. I know. What's frustrating is when we're speaking so much truth to power and we get dismissed. And that's why I wrote a Substack today that says, I love to say I told you so. Because I don't think that I'm right all the time, but when I'm right, I'm super right. And I have been dismissed mostly by men who I'm working for, who like brush me off, like, oh, you're too little and cute for me to take you seriously. So I'm going to give you a verbal pat on the head and send you on your way. And I can cite examples from when I was on the radio until, literally yesterday when I wrote a blog, and 5 hours later, the guy changed his mind. So that's what's frustrating, right? And so when we're not...
Wait, I had to find the picture that you were talking about.
Yes. See, that's look at that.
Holy moly.
That's one of them. And but there's one where she's wearing one that's even darker colored than that, and she's standing side by side with Ron, and she's not wearing the gloves, so you can see her weird veiny hands.
Oh wow!
There's another one.
Gotta find that one. Oh wait, I do see it. I think oh wow, is that an AI image? It can't be real.
No. Well, put it up there.
I am.
The one I'm thinking of.
Wow.
Put it up there because I'll bet you it's the one I'm thinking of. Because I had it on my phone for a while and I would share it.
Oof. It's the stuff of nightmares, really. Here we go.
And for that one. 100% that
Look at
one.
those arms.
That's exactly. They look like that maybe they both came from the same family tree with no branches.
Wow.
Right? That's
wow.
I wouldn't be surprised if inbreeding was also a part of the MAGA cult mentality. With all the other horrible things.
She's got that Serena
children.
Yeah, she got the Serena Joy vibes for real.
Look at that. Real. I mean, it's crazy
incredible
business. Again, like, it astonishes me because you and I are normal human beings and allowed to think freely and express ourselves. Like, no one is going to tell me what to think, and no one's going to tell me what to say. No one's going to tell me what to believe. And I just get so frustrated when I don't say, and I've said this before, I don't talk shit. I just tell the truth. Right. And when the truth is uncomfortable, like the other day when we were talking about Mark Wayne Mullen and him not liking it when people say negative things about Trump just because they're true, and that anyone in the media, we should be able to go back to the days where members of Congress could shoot reporters when they didn't like it. Oh wait, no, I'm just kidding.
Isn't that
I'm just kidding. No, you're not.
What a good joke.
You're not kidding. You're not kidding. And it is not funny. I have personally received rape and death threats.
Me too.
Just for speaking while female.
Yeah.
Well,
and then you free speech absolutists we're talking about.
Right. And then I feel like I'm a walking MAGA bingo card because it's like single, Jewish, Democrat, Portland, cats.
A lot.
I have all. Right? It's all of the things that they love to make fun of, but none of those things have anything to do with Donald Trump tanking the global markets. Right? It doesn't make him any less of a convicted felon adjudicated rapist if you want to call me a Karen. Like,
that's
focusing on the wrong things gets nothing done, and that's the point of what the MAGA cult does.
Right?
But that's exactly that's part of how we got here. In that it was almost like they deployed a digital army to distract us so they could build this monstrosity of a plan to take over. And while we were busy fighting with a bot from Macedonia, they were doing some real harm to this country. I think one thing that maybe I'll do it on Friday or maybe I'll do it next week, but I feel like I need to write a primer for people for social media, like how to spot a fake account so that they're not we're not wasting our time and energy fighting with the wrong.
Do they do they still have that bot sentinel thing that used to work?
I don't think they allow. I loved that. That was a great a great benefit when Twitter was still run by Jack. But I don't think you can do that anymore. I mean, there are ones that
It's
are so
hard
painfully
to spot
obvious.
them, though. Now it's very because they've
It's
become
harder.
so good. Yeah, it's harder. It's
And
harder.
also because they can put a blue check on a fake account just as
Right,
easily as a real
exactly.
account.
And there's
So,
no
I wanna write a
standards
primer.
anymore. Yeah, you should, because
Yeah,
I need that
I
too.
I can spot a fake account in about 2 seconds. I'm like, name that tune, but with, spot that troll.
Yeah. Well,
And so it makes it easy
right.
for me. But what the unfortunate thing is if like if you write a tweet and one of the bots responds and then somebody responds to the bot and then you're stuck in this conversation with these idiots talking to each other,
You're just
and
wasting your
neither of
time.
them are
Right.
real.
Yeah, exactly.
Neither of them are real. Because there are Democrat bots also who claim to be
they claim to be
real
like
people on
real
the
liberals or something, and they're always
my favorite of the
Yes.
former I used a
That's what
former
it is.
Democrat.
And
for Trump.
we should not.
No, you're not.
We should vote third party. This is what they do. That everybody sells us out, and Democrats are. They try to suppress the Democratic Party vote. That's what they do. So yeah,
because they can't win fairly and they don't have anything to offer. And
and they don't.
Why would
they
you
don't.
still be a Republican now? Like they've not done anything for you.
I know,
except
it's
make
very
everything
weird.
harder.
I look
Unless
at
you're a millionaire.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
even
the only reason
still,
to be a Republican.
But if you are a sociopathic millionaire, because it should be, the old saying, you can't take it with you. So
No.
aren't there more important things in life to consider than if you're
I
doing
think so.
well? Because we know they've done studies that after a certain amount of money, having more money does not influence your happiness. It's around $77,000. If you have enough money to survive and to, do those things that used to be the American dream, go on vacation, whatever, buy a house, buy a car.
Right? And it's hard to do that under any Republican administration. It's harder to do that if you live the freelance lifestyle, as I do.
Me too.
It's really hard. I have a birthday coming up 2 weeks from Saturday. And one thing I want for my birthday, besides world peace, is for everyone to buy my book, The Sound of Settling, at TaraDublinRocks.com, and sign up for my Substack. So I've had, I wanted. Thank you. Have you checked your mail? I sent you something.
I have, but nothing arrived yet. I'll check it again after.
Check it again. I sent you something. But
thank you. You're so sweet.
I try, I try to be a good human being, a good citizen of the world, and whatever. And for whatever reason, this month is just kicking my ass, and I've been having some bad karma. And when I say karma, I mean CAR, bad karma. I've gotten.
Oh no.
I've been rolling along. Like I have a New Jersey Leadfoot. I didn't get any speeding tickets recently, but
shit.
I got a red light ticket from the end of February, but it came in at the beginning of April, and I have to go to court on the 23rd.
Go to court for it? Oh, okay. Wow. That's a lot of money.
$290 or $390.
A ticket in the mail? Is it? Holy shit.
Yeah, it came in the mail, $290, and like you can see your face. They took the picture, but it was on a day where it was really sunny and I couldn't see, and there were all these cars in front of me, and I was like halfway, and I wasn't speeding because it says I was going the speed limit, and I was like halfway through the intersection when it turned right, and I was stuck, and it was either keep going or sit in the intersection.
Right. Well, there you go.
I'm gonna go plead that and see if plead that one down, but $300 for a red light ticket. No, Jesus Christ, Portland.
They may not dismiss it, but they might. They may
reduce it. But then Tuesday night.
Don't worry, we can go over.
I'm not going.
Go ahead.
Tuesday night, I went to my Low Bar Corral, which is where I go. I sing with this group every couple of weeks in a bar where we sing contemporary songs in 3-part harmony with a live band, and it's my group therapy, and we'll talk about it next time, what it is. And I parked on the side street where I always park. I almost always park there, and I got a ticket at 9:30 at night.
For what?
Because it was a zone.
What was the ticket?
It was like a zone. You needed to have a specific zone permit between 6 and midnight, and I had never, ever in the however many years I've been. There's a sign, but it's confusing because it's like something until only until 6, and then the other one is you can be there from 6 to midnight, but only if you have a zone permit, and it's very confusing language. So anyway, that was $85.
Holy shit!
So that's like $400 worth of tickets that I can't afford to pay to the city of Portland.
Yeah, they'll reduce them if you go.
I mean, I don't know about the parking ticket, but hopefully the red light ticket. But it's just like, guys, can I just get a fucking break from the universe? Can someone buy my book already?
Yeah.
Like, can I just get the book deal of my dreams and adapt it? And can you get what's something like? I want you to have something that's really good. A gift from the universe is just for you. A gift from the universe is just for me. Like, individually, like, we all deserve something good. And, like, instead I'm getting fucking tickets and this shit. And it's just like, the whole world needs to be smudged with sage. Or
yes.
Or Palo Santo or something. Because it's just like, dude, I'm just like, can we get a break? So
I know,
as we
and that's
roll
a lot.
Into
that's
the weekend,
$400 for tickets. I mean, an unexpected bill. Get the hell out of here.
Yes. Yeah. Right, and we touched on that the other day. Like an unexpected bill can put you out on the street if you're not, if you aren't fortified. So
this is exactly
what I would ask.
You're living that American,
right.
That the Americans don't have enough money for an emergency. Go ahead, sorry.
But as we wrap, I don't like to ask for handouts. I ask for hand up, but it's a mutually beneficial situation because if I'm asking people to sign up for my Substack at the lowest level, what is like $8 or $8 or $10. So if like half the chat signed up for my Substack, that would do it. That would just do it, right?
What about me too, mine
and you,
too.
And also
me. I'm just kidding.
Devlin also has a Substack that everybody should sign up for, and then the Political Voices Network.
It's a good
Substack.
show. It's a good one, and so is Tara. Tara writes amazing. Right. She's prolific, and you should get your ass on there.
You do too, though. But we're both of us. So what I would give up a Starbucks or two this month and kick it down to us because we're here for you, and it's just a terrifying time for a lot of people. And you never know what another person is carrying. And right now I'm carrying very little because it's all going out. So not a lot coming in. So, and that's another thing. The Republicans want us to fail and they want us impoverished and not supporting each other. And that's also how we pushed back. So even if you can't support financially, share it with people.
Yes.
Share the link to my book with your friends who read. Share the link to the podcast with your friends and say, hey, this is like group therapy every couple of, every 2 days a week. Every week we're here and we're here for you. So, and we have gone a little over, but we appreciate you guys hanging out.
We can go over.
Thank you so much.
It's our show.
Call your Republican. I know it's our. Just over the weekend, do something good. Read my book. Watch Black Mirror. Do something that has nothing
watch
to do
The
with
Handmaid's Tale. No, well, if you're in a good mood, that's a very hard series.
That's
to
a
get
hard
through.
watch.
Yeah.
Idiocracy though. Watch some Idiocracy and Black Mirror. Maybe Hacks. Watch Hacks. Hacks is really good. But just remember, we are neither hopeless nor helpless because we have each other. Right. And just if we stick together, and we will hopefully
win. That's
prevail.
My slogan. We stick together, we win.
When we fight, we win is what somebody said. I don't remember who said that, but she was right. She's totally right.
But I just one last thing when people are asking what we can do. Okay, we know that Trump sucks. And my whole existence on the liberal media is in response to our legacy media, the corporate media, because they simply don't get the truth out there. And that's what I think, I'm not just, blowing smoke up our asses here, but everything starts with a conversation. So we will not win unless we get the message back. And that's what we're doing here.
Together.
That's it. That's it. So,
all right, you guys, we will see you Tuesday, same Tara time, same Tara channel. And until then, just be good to each other and